Good morning. Thank you all for being here. We will start with the Committee on Public Property and Public Works. Would the clerk please read the bills?
Bill number 190206, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to enter into an agreement between the city and the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority for the PRA to act as the city's agent for the marketing, competitive bidding, sale, and development as applicable of certain city-owned properties under certain terms and conditions.
Good morning. Greg Heller, Director of the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority. Good morning, Chair Heenan and members of the committee. I'm here to speak in support of Bill number 190206, which would authorize the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to enter into a cooperation agreement with the city, allowing PRA to act as the city's agent of the marketing, competitive bidding, sale, and development of certain city-owned properties. The Urban Redevelopment Law provides that the authority may cooperate with any governmental entity or municipality to act as agent for such entities for the public purpose provided in the Urban Redevelopment Law. The authority currently has several such cooperation agreements in place with the Philadelphia Department of Public Property, Philadelphia Department of Parks and Recreation, and Philadelphia Managing Director's Office for capital projects, and an agreement with the School District of Philadelphia for marketing and disposition of real property. On July 18, 2018, the authority issued an RFP at the request of the Public Property Commissioner seeking development proposals for the adaptive reuse of the former Engine 29 firehouse and a rear parking lot located at 1221 to 25 North 4th Street, which are currently owned by the City of Philadelphia Department of Public Property. The structure is approximately 14,400 square feet. PRA received and reviewed proposals and pre-selected an applicant. PRA can only move forward on this transaction, which will lead to the responsible redevelopment of this property, pending Council's approval of Bill number 190206 and execution of a cooperation agreement with the Public Property Commissioner. Although the authority will be marketing properties and managing the disposition process as the city's agent, ultimate decisions will be with the Public Property Commissioner, and each sale will require a resolution of City Council. Chair Heenan and members of the committee, I respectfully request favorable consideration of Bill number 190206. I will be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. First, for the record, we jumped right in here. I want to make note that we do have a quorum here. To my left, we have our Vice Chair, Councilman Greenlee. To my right, Councilman O and Councilman Dom, so a quorum is present. So thank you for your testimony. We do have an amendment. Have you seen the amendment that has been circulated to all members of council? And
have you seen the amendment?
All right, so we have an amendment, all right, that specifies a site for the, first, authorizing the cooperation agreement in addition to property.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning.
Good morning, Councilman.
Just a few questions. Can you walk me through the process that you're going to be utilizing in the marketing of this property? And were you also handling the sale of 46th and Market?
I'm sorry, the sale what?
Of 46th and Market. Did you handle that sale?
No.
Okay, so walk me through the process here, because I've been down a few paths of when we've been selling real estate, and I just think we could do a better job going forward.
Sure. So for the sale of this property and probably others moving forward, we issued a competitive request for proposals, which we marketed on our website through our mailing lists. We got a number of very strong proposals as a result. We had a 5-member review committee that met and scored the proposals based on the scoring criteria in the RFP, and then we made a recommendation to the Public Property Commissioner, and we pre-selected an applicant, but we notified the applicant that we couldn't move forward on the transaction until we had a cooperation agreement in place. So that's where we are in this particular transaction.
So are you saying you have a buyer in place for this already?
Yes.
And have we done our own independent appraisal for the highest and best use of the property?
We don't typically get appraisals when we put out a competitive RFP because we let the market establish what the fair market value is. We did get a number of very strong and competitive proposals for this one, and we think that the city is getting best value. But the other thing to remember is that we review and score proposals on 5 different criteria. So we don't necessarily have to sell to the highest bidder, and it's often not in the city's best interest to do so, because we're trying to find the best balance of cash for the city, as well as best use that's compatible with the community, and that, in this case, restores the structure and a use that's going to be in the best interest of the community in the long term.
But you don't think it would be worth a small, it's not expensive to get an outside appraisal from an independent party, just so you have an idea from your perspective as to what the value is in the market, so that when we get competitive bids, you have something to back it up against?
We could. We have an in-house appraiser who always reviews them and puts together her own comps. So I think we do have a pretty good sense based on our own staff. And, we have a full-time appraiser on our staff. So we order appraisals as a necessity when we're doing sales that are non-competitive as allowed by the city's disposition policies and that require an outside appraisal. But often when we do RFPs or competitive bids, we rely on our in-house appraisal staff.
Some of the comments I hear from people who are looking at city property, they say the bidding process is so cumbersome that many, A, don't want to bid, and B, will put in lower bids because of the length of time it takes and all the circles they have to, all the hoops they have to jump through to purchase a property. And in that light, is there a way to streamline the process so that we would benefit as a city?
Well, I think we've put in some very good steps over the last 3 years under my leadership at the Redevelopment Authority to streamline the process. One of the first things we put in place was that until this administration, we couldn't accept electronic submissions. And we put that in very quickly to allow for an electronic portal that's easy to use and to transfer information up. We revised our whole property application to make it much more streamlined and easier to follow. You can enter the information all electronically. So we have been taking real steps to also cut down the time needed to review and process, and we've been very focused on customer service. But there are always going to be things in our process that are going to be more cumbersome than in the private market, because we want to make sure that all buyers are current with the Department of Revenue, don't have outstanding L&I violations, and we do a pretty comprehensive check, not just on the buyer, but on all entities that the buyer, that the individuals who have equity interest in the buyer also have interest in, to make sure that we're covering all of our bases. And we have to do the campaign disclosure and the tax disclosure form. So I think with a public sector transaction, there's always going to be more of a cumbersome process, but we really have focused on customer service as much as possible.
I'm going to go back to the appraisal for a minute, because I do think that if we had an appraisal and the charge to the appraisal firm was find out the highest and best use, whether we want to do that or not, at least we should know what a potential buyer may want to do with this property under the zoning. And then at least you'd have a backstop. If you got an offer, you could say, that's pretty much where the appraisal is, so you have a basis for making a decision.
Right. No, I understand. And again, we do have a sense of what the market value is based on our in-house appraisal staff, who we think have identified good comps and has a good sense of what the market pricing should be. We certainly could expend the cost and get an outside appraisal, but we think that we have good in-house staff that can also give us a pretty good opinion of value.
And keep in mind, OPA 2 years ago hired an outside appraisal firm and found, I believe, about $8 billion undervalued, worth $122 million per year in real estate taxes. And I'm only using that as an example that sometimes that outside professional firm can be of help to us in the public sector.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman.
Any other members have any questions on Bill number 190206? Is there anyone else here that wishes to testify on Bill number 190206? Well, thank you for your testimony on that bill. Anyone, would you wish to continue on Bill number 190207? Anybody here from the administration that wishes to testify on Bill number 190207? Morning. Excuse me, can you hold, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clerk, could you please read the title of Bill number 190207, please?
Bill number 190207, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to convey to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land in and about the area bounded by Tacony Street, Levick Street, Milnor Street, and Barnett Street under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 190208, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or a lesser interest in real estate by purchase, dedication, donation, condemnation, agreement in lieu of condemnation, or otherwise to parcels of land along the Delaware River and in the bed of the former Kensington and Tacony Railroad under certain terms and conditions. And Bill number 190310, authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for use by the city of a portion of the premises located at 804 North Broad Street, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you. And you may proceed with your testimony on Bill number 190207.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairperson Heenan and members of the Committee on Public Property and Public Works. My name is Elizabeth Lankenow, and I am the Director of Infrastructure Program Coordination at the Office of Transportation, Infrastructure, and Sustainability. I am here today to testify in support of Bill number 190207, an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to convey to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation a parcel of land bounded by Tacony Street, Levick Street, Milnor Street, and Barnett Street under certain terms and conditions. This property will be sold to PennDOT so that the agency can use this land to comply with the city's stormwater management regulations, which are triggered by the I-95 reconstruction project. The proceeds from the sale will be deposited into the general fund. The Office of Transportation, Infrastructure, and Sustainability supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that the City Council approve Bill number 190207. I am requesting a suspension of the rules so as to allow for the first reading at the next session of Council. Thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimonies. Anybody on the committee would like to? Councilman Dom? Chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I just have a question on
Yes.
this. What's the sale price of this property?
PennDOT valued it at $405,000.
How big was the property?
1 acre, a little over an acre.
1 acre? And how do we determine that was the right value?
I don't know PennDOT's appraisal process, but they did a valuation. I don't know that they did an appraisal.
But this is just to be clear, this is a property that we own as the city,
Correct.
and PennDOT was interested in buying it.
Correct, for stormwater management use. It's an open space by the Tacony-Palmyra
So-
Bridge
Okay, and then how do we determine that value?
through a PennDOT valuation process. Can you,
So but they're the buyer.
sorry. I'm going to ask Public Property to speak to this more.
Hello, my name is Dominique Casimir, Deputy Commissioner of Real Estate for Public Property. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Councilman Dom. So the valuation that PennDOT gave it was what Elizabeth spoke to. We did have two separate appraisals to evaluate the land ourselves. They came in, both appraisals came in at zero. Reason being because the strip of land is unbuildable and you cannot build on it. There was no OPA ever assigned to the parcels of land, and if you see it, it's directly under or adjacent to the bridge, so it can't be used for any other purposes other than stormwater management.
Did we order an appraisal to value it based on PennDOT's use or our value?
Both, actually. We did it for highest and best
But
per,
if we
per
order an
the
appraisal
storm.
for PennDOT's use,
Yes,
there has to be a value because that's why they want it.
I understand. We're more than happy to submit the appraisal work to you. We
Yes,
have this
all right.
done through PIDC.
But you follow what I'm saying? Like, if
I
we're
do.
the seller and they're the buyer, and they want something that we have, and even if it's valued at zero, to them, there's a value. And my
Correct.
question is, did we maximize that value?
Yes, we're more than happy to share that information with
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And the councilman, for the record, this bill and the next bill are pertinent in the district, and having one being the use to extend our trails and the process that goes along with this. And I am quite aware of this parcel of land and its use, or I guess I think the buildable type of unique property as where it sits on location. So I think PennDOT's appraisal, in my understanding and speaking with the department and PennDOT, is probably the best use of the property at this time. That's why we decided to move forward. So, thank you. Anyone else wish to testify on bill number 190208 or 207? Thank you. Anyone for the administration wish to has testimony on 190208? Good morning. If you state your name for the record, and you may proceed with your testimony.
Sure. Good morning, Chairperson Heenan and committee members. My name is Robert Armstrong. I'm the Preservation and Capital Projects Manager with the Department of Parks and Recreation. I appear before you today on behalf of the department concerning bill number 190208. This bill allows the City of Philadelphia to acquire right-of-way land along the former Kensington-Tacony or K&T Railroad and along the Delaware River for an expansion of recreational parkland consisting primarily of the proposed K&T Trail, a multi-use recreational trail, and amenities. Upon completion of construction, the right-of-way will be operated and maintained by Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, along with its nonprofit partner, the Riverfront North Partnership. The proposed right-of-way runs between Old Frankfort Creek and Princeton Street along the Delaware River and serves to connect the public to two public boat launches, the Frankfort Boat Launch and the Tacony Boat Launch, as well as Lardner's Point Park, a park abutting the proposed right-of-way. This proposed right-of-way is also part of the larger regional circuit trail system and the National East Coast Greenway. The Department of Parks and Recreation supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully request that City Council approve Bill number 190208. I'm also requesting suspension of the rules so as to allow for first reading at the next session of Council. Thank you. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you for your testimony. Anybody on the committee wish to ask any questions on bill number 19028? Anybody here today joining us wish to comment on bill number 19028? That being said, anyone from the administration wish to testify on bill number 190310? You may state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Sure. Good morning, Chairman Heenan and other members of the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. My name is Dominique Casimir, and I am the Deputy Commissioner of Real Estate for the Department of Public Property. I am here today to testify in support of Bill number 190310, ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for the use by the city of a portion of the premises located at 804 North Broad Street under certain terms and conditions. The city currently leases space at 802 North Broad Street for the Office of Homeless Services, and has been since June of 2012. The original lease term has expired, and the city is now on a month-to-month term. Due to the age of the property and lack of desire from ownership to improve the space, Department of Public Property began a search for an alternate location. An opportunity presented itself next door at 804 North Broad Street, where ownership had already begun a complete renovation of the property. Ownership offered to deliver a brand-new custom fit-out in return for a 10-year lease with one additional 5-year option. This new location would allow for an easy transition for the city employees and prevent confusion for participants seeking services formerly at 802 North Broad. The proposed premises at 804 North Broad will be approximately 2,674 square feet on the ground floor and 1,449 square feet on the mezzanine floor, for a total of 4,123 square feet. The initial term would start at $15 per square foot base rent plus utilities and insurance, which is projected to be below $2 per square foot. These terms allow the city to stay within financial year 2017 allocated budget for 802 North Broad. The Department of Public Property supports this measure, and accordingly, I respectfully ask that City Council approve Bill Number 190310. I am requesting a suspension of all rules so as to allow for the first reading at the next session of Council. Thank you, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Chair recognizes Councilman Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Quick question.
Sure.
I'm familiar with this area, and I know that building 802 is in bad shape, so it
Yeah.
makes sense to get out of there. I'm trying to picture what was at 804? Do you know?
804 was actually an abandoned building.
Okay.
They renovated it completely. And
Okay.
so now there will be apartments on top with our services down on the
Okay.
retail and mezzanine.
And if I remember right, there's offices where basically folks that are need services are referred out, kind of?
Correct.
Yeah.
For intake center for homeless or transitional services.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. Chair recognizes Councilman Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Good morning.
I just have a few questions on the lease.
Sure.
It says in paragraph 7 of Exhibit A that we're responsible for the insurance and real estate taxes?
Well, yes, we are responsible for insurance and real estate taxes. We're responsible for real estate taxes on every lease that we lease.
So the city's not exempt from paying real estate taxes at all?
Unfortunately not.
And then, is there any protection in that lease?
I'm
for
sorry?
Any protection in the lease against real estate tax increases that will occur?
Well, actually, in this property, there's a 10-year tax abatement. So if you notice in my testimony, it said utilities plus insurance is what we're really paying on throughout this term.
So the city's using this 10-year tax abatement as a tenant?
No, usually we pay the pass-throughs of whatever the developer or landlord or licensor. So if
Right.
there's real estate taxes, we pay them.
Right, but the city will be the beneficiary because the taxes are abated.
Anyone utilizing, any tenant would benefit from it.
And so when I'm looking at this lease, it says $15 is the base, and the mezzanine, is that because the ceilings were high ceilings and they added a mezzanine space?
Well, one of the things that we did with this is we actually reduced our square footage, and the floor print on the first floor was not able to take our whole entire services. So what we were able to do was actually almost double our staff load capacity and reduce our square footage, and they were able to put a mezzanine level in. So it's actually 9-foot clear ceilings.
So they built a mezzanine for our usage,
Correct.
and of that mezzanine space is 1,049.
1,449 square feet, correct.
1,449 square feet. So really, the ground floor is 2,700 roughly.
2674 square feet, yes.
Because usually, when we lease spaces, you pay on the ground floor, and if the tenant's going to add a mezzanine, this is a benefit to the landlord. I know the landlord's doing all the TI.
Well, I will say this, the TI is in that we're getting a custom, brand-new facility for $15 per square foot. The proposal on 802 North Broad was going to go up, increase by $2 a square foot. The comps in the area are at $20 on average per square foot in the area for office space on North Broad. So we figured that this would be a great deal. We're also locked in for the next 3 years at $15 per square foot.
Right, but your add-ons are about $356 a foot on top of the 15, right? You have
No,
insurance.
our add-ons that we're projected at are approximately less than $2 a square foot. It's actually $1.80 per square foot for the projected utilities and insurance. We're more than happy to provide you that breakdown.
Well, it says in number 7, $1.80 per foot.
Yes,
Then it says it's also responsible for $72.78 annually, also, in addition to its share of insurance and real estate taxes. So when you divide it out, that's $1.76, the other's $1.80. So it becomes $3.56 a foot on top of the 15. So it's $18.56.
which is still cheaper than what we're currently
But
paying.
look at it from the 2,600 feet, because that's really where to look at it from.
Yes.
What is the TI number per foot?
The improvement that they're putting in, I can get you the estimate. I do not have that with me at the time, but it's brand new, built out.
And did we have, in this size lease, we don't have any outside, I know we made an arrangement with an outside commercial broker to assist us?
No, we did not.
We did not?
We
So-
did this direct.
Direct, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else on the committee who wishes to speak on Bill number 190310? Anyone else here joining us today wishes to speak on 191310? Thank you for your testimony. We will end our public hearing and move to our public meeting on the Committee of Public Property and Public Works. The chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee on the amendment to Bill number 190206. First, I'd like to recognize that we have been joined for the entire length of the committee by Councilman Squilla. My apologies. Chairman or Vice Chair Greenlee, amendment to Bill number 190206.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the amendment to Bill number 190206 be approved.
Second. It has been moved in motion. All those on the amendment to Bill number 190206, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Amendment is adopted to Bill number 190206. Chair now recognizes a motion for the bills that are being heard here today in our public meeting. Chair recognizes Councilman Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that Bill number 190206 as amended and Bills 190207, 190208, 190310 be voted out of this committee with a favorable recommendation, and I further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of these bills at our next session of council.
That it has been moved and properly second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Bill number 190206 as amended, Bill number 190207, 191028, and 190310 are being reported out of this committee with a favorable recommendation to be heard at our next council of session. And thank you all for coming. This will conclude our public property and public works hearing.